Hi Beasties, I'm Karin, otherwise known as BATB Passion.
And I am Janeen, also known as J. Cole on Facebook and at Janeen on Twitter.
And no rocking or dancing.
I have to, I can't stand still. So.
Yeah, okay, I know, that's all right. Anyway, Beasties, we're here to talk about episode 12 of season 2 of Beauty and the Beast, called Recipe for Disaster. And what an episode it's proven to be.
Oh, was it good?
Boy, oh boy, talk about contentious yet again. So contentious, in fact, that there's a lot we're going to cover this week, so who knows how long this is going to go for. But we might start slightly differently this week. We want to give a great big shout out to Liz Plantley, who posted something on Facebook today that really resonated with both of us.
Yes.
In the aftermath of this episode, again, we've read a lot of, I'm not even going to call them beasties anymore, some of them, because as far as I'm concerned...
I think twatters is a really good name.
Twatters?
Yes.
Okay, that's a British term, isn't it? So Janelle, you'll be very happy.
I don't know, someone, I just put that in front of my face. I read somewhere, someone said, I don't call them beasties, I call them twatters.
Yeah, actually, I like that too. Look, we all have differences of opinion on these episodes.
Yeah.
I've had it again, but I had an ephany today in relation to Gabe and Kat that I'm going to go into just a little bit later. And but in the meantime, there's still a lot of fans behaving really, really badly, not being constructive, not being polite, not even being respectful, and just sending stuff to writers and actors that are just appalling. And Liz summed it all up beautifully in this post today, and the lovely Janeen is going to read it out to us.
Now, I did actually ask Liz if I could quote her.
Yes, correct.
But I'm not quoting her, I'm just going to read it verbatim, because Liz, it was just perfect for what a normal, sensible person would hopefully think.
Yes.
But anyway, she says, in which I speak of BATB, let's get one thing straight, okay? Since it's called Beauty and the Beast, the only thing that's promised is that Vincent and Catherine will end up together.
Yes.
Nothing in the title promises a stress-free time for Vincat between now and the ending outcome, and it's highly juvenile to assume as such. Nothing between Vincat has been ruined. You cannot tarnish destiny. It's bumpy for them right now, so what? It won't be that way forever. The struggle only makes their relationship that much more meaningful.
Correct.
Next point. Vincent and Catherine are both flawed individuals that are not perfect, but they are perfect for each other. Love that.
Yes, same. Agreed.
Regardless of all, and that is why their love is as special and magical as it is. Love is not a race that you can win. They need the time apart to realise they need to be together. They've made mistakes and they are continuing to do so, but it's all in how they rebuild their love and trust that makes them the beautiful and rare couple they are. Not that they've never made a mistake whatsoever. Next point. It's not only very realistic but also romantic how they are coming back together again in S2, if you ask me. To realise that yes, we were both wrong, but we are also willing to fight and to apologise, to make amends in order to restore and intensify what we've always had. Next point. It seems that many fans feel they are owed an easy journey to the ending destination, but we aren't owed anything.
Correct.
Absolutely. Being a fan isn't mandatory, it's voluntary.
Correct.
But being respectful, on the other hand, is mandatory, and I agree 100%.
Absolutely.
To use a cliche saying, this is the last point, to use a cliche saying, do not bite the hand that feeds you, the writers giveth and they can taketh away. We love this show and we want a third season, so let's attempt to be a little more respectful and kindness. So let's attempt a little more respect and kindness when speaking with or about them, as well as the actors and everyone else affiliated with the show, please. Vincent and Catherine will happen when it's meant to be, when their time is right.
Absolutely, Liz.
Go, Liz.
Yeah, go, Liz. We applaud you.
That was the best thing that I read all day.
Yes, no, it was brilliant, and so appropriate and so true. I'm on night shift at the moment, and I'm struggling with time, as everyone's aware.
She's got to edit my book.
Yeah, I've got to edit her next story tonight. But I wake up, the first thing I do is grab my iPad and have a look at, especially on a BATB day, I look at Twitter, I look at social media, I try to grab as many reviews as I can to get a general feeling on what's going on in the episode. And today has been somewhat of a meltdown. And what disappointed me was that most of it was over the first scene in the episode. so many Beasties couldn't get beyond seeing Vincent and Tori in bathrobes, because what that showed us is that, yes, they've probably been engaging in a sexual relationship.
But we
Who
knew
cares?
that. But we knew that. We said back in, I don't know, the second after they kissed.
Yes.
In Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, we said that we are expecting some sort of relationship to form here because Catherine and Vincent were going to be torn apart. Well, you know, sex isn't love. It is possible to have sex with someone that you don't love.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've been told. I wouldn't know.
And look, one of the things that dawned on me today too. Look, I had problems when I watched this episode the first time, which was yesterday, and I had no problems with Vincent and Tori. I had some problems with Gabe and Kat, specifically not with Gabe, but with Kat wanting to be with Gabe. I must admit, Janelle, at first, you know, your line about that when she sees that it's bath, which is another euphemism for vomit,
regurgitate,
all that sort of
spew,
thing. I did agree, but now I've had a complete... All right, that's enough. I've had a complete turnaround on this whole Gabe and Kat thing, and I'm going to get to that. But to start, let's try and put Vincent and Tori in a nutshell. She's
dead.
Well, all right, she's dead. But I think rather than being... A lot of Beasties are seeing Tori as Vincent's fall from grace. I see Tori as perhaps indirectly being his saving grace. Because after he'd been shot, without Tori to feel responsible for, I don't know that it wouldn't have been harder for his humanity to start coming back. He had to question himself, he had to question his life. He got distracted along the way by Tori. There is a primal beastly connection. We can't ignore that, but don't make more of it than what it is either. But listen, without Tori, I don't think his humanity would have come back nearly as much. Because when you think about it, he had to be responsible for another human being who didn't ask for any of this, who was born into it, had a... what was it? She was protected, she was coddled, she really didn't live a real life because her father protected her from all of that. So there was no basis in reality for her life. So she was spoiled. She was this little rich girl who knew no better, and she was trying to deal with this situation as best she can. And along comes Vincent, so she tries to hold on to him. Well, as we've all discussed, as wouldn't we all? So everything about her in this episode made sense to me. Her motivation, her wanting to keep Vincent. I thought it was actually very sad that she died. From her character's point of view, I thought it was sad because I really didn't have a set against her. I get that she was important to this whole gem mystery. I get that she was important for Vincent to feel some guilt, some responsibility to help bring back his humanity, and to, guess what, drive him back to Catherine, because what did he do? He effectively broke up with Tori because he realised that that wasn't the path he wanted. But he had to experience that path to make him realise it. And he did. I mean, I saw so much of the old Vincent in this episode. Yeah. And that I was really heartened by that. This journey, this evolving that he's done is really quite remarkable. Remember season 1 when JT said that it took Vincent years to get over the self-loathing? JT was a big part in helping Vincent with that, and then along comes Catherine, and that was, you know, the final catalyst in Vincent helping to redeem himself and his humanity. But he wasn't a nice person for those first few years, according to JT. Now, that took him a few years of just being a beast. I think for the man that he came back after he'd been kidnapped, presumably tortured, and also had his brain wiped. And look, guys, a lot of you are thinking that Vincent has all of his memories back and that he's living it all. I don't buy it. The tweets that I've seen and the interviews that I've seen with Brad Kearns are that whatever memories he has is it. They're not going any further, but they don't seem to be full on, oh my God, I lived that moment memory. They seem to be snapshots that he still doesn't quite feel on a visceral level. So at the end of the day, now
that's our review.
No. So, you know, I think he's come a long way in only a few short months to the Vincent that we're now seeing in episode 12, compared to how long it took him just from being a beast in season 1 and based on JT's anecdotal stories. So this Vincent in episode 12, I think, is a phenomenally heartwarming turn to who he was in episode 1. I see a lot of hope for him, and I see a lot of old Vincent. Catherine, on the other hand, we'll get to that in a few minutes.
Wow. All I'd like to say is, mate, I'd like to make this really interesting and disagree with her, but I can't. although I see the Tory thing not quite as deeply as you, I don't think. To me, it was just she gravitated towards something that knew what it was like to be a beast.
Yes,
totally
absolutely.
understand it, totally get it.
Yep.
You know what? Catherine and Vincent aren't together, and they haven't been together since Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
That's the other thing.
There is no one cheating on anybody here. They are not a couple. They haven't been a couple more or less the whole season.
Yeah, true. They
had
tried
sex
to find
once.
each other.
They had sex once, and then there was that thing that happened where he pushed her out of the way.
Yep.
They haven't been a couple since then.
Yeah, exactly.
So, guys, they haven't been a couple this season. They had sex once. He's not cheating on her. Even though I understand, here I go again, I understand why people are saying that from season 1 they were together and that, you know, he's cheating on her because when he got taken away where they were together and they're still together. No, they're not, because Vincent doesn't know who she is. Or didn't know who she is.
Yeah.
So they haven't been a couple this season. He's not cheated on her once. Not even with the kiss for Tori did he cheat on her. They were trying to find each other's their way back to each other.
Exactly.
Shit happened.
Yep.
It had to happen this way.
Yep.
I see Tori more as the reason why Vincent woke up to the fact that he didn't want the path that he went with her.
Yes, agreed.
He confessed to her that she scrambled his brain, his way of thinking, things he felt. It wasn't just a primal beast reaction that he had with her. It wasn't just the power that's amplified when he was around her. She muddled everything with him.
Almost.
That when he was away
Yep.
from her, he was a different person.
Yes.
And then when he came back to her, he got all muddled up again. So when he was away from Tori and with Catherine and with JT, the old Vincent was showing glimpses of who the old Vincent was.
Yep.
But then he would leave there and then go back to Tori and she would play with all his feelings and everything again. We knew that there was an insinuation of a relationship of some sort between them.
Absolutely.
Now even Tori has said, you never promised me a future and we've had some sort of relationship.
Correct.
Right, seriously guys, he's not cheated on her.
Put on your big girl pants and grow up.
We really need to stop comparing our own life's experiences with what we're seeing on a television show.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
just because one boy may have cheated on someone doesn't make all men cheaters.
Yep.
You know, I'm going out with a guy for 7 years and I don't even think he'd know what another female looked like. So, you know, honestly, guys, you need to just take a step back and look at what is reality and what is real on the television show. Because the television show is exactly that. It's a television show. They're characters.
Yep.
And the writers are doing a brilliant job because they're doing exactly what they want to do. They're making us all sit here and argue with each other.
Yeah,
about
well,
what's
that's
right and
true.
what's wrong.
That's true. It's engendering such emotion. It's unbelievable. I see Tori actually as a fairly benign form of brainwashing of Vincent.
Yeah.
In its own way. Not intentional. It's not Tori's fault. She hasn't set out
She
to
doesn't
do
realise
that.
she's doing it.
But I think there's been a form of, as I said, benign brainwashing.
Yeah, whatever
Vincent,
her power is, it muddles everything up in him.
Exactly.
And it is another form of brainwashing.
He can't make great choices when she's around. He's not capable of that.
And it's got nothing to do with love.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just the beast.
How amazing is it then when you look at all of that to realise that Vincent now has broken through all of that?
Oh, his evolution is amazing. And this is one of the things I keep trying to say to people on the comments that I leave. You've got to look at him from the day one where he knew nobody and the evolution of who Vincent is today.
Yeah.
And even in one of the comments that I left today in response to an article when someone was saying, Vincent, where are you? Wherefore art thou, Vincent?
I get frustrated with that. He's there.
I actually said to her, oh, that's right, because, you know, there's Vincent in season 1, you know, compared to the Vincent in season 2. And I've just named a few things, which, of course, now that I'm talking about it, have gone out of my head. But, you know, it's like that's right, the person was saying that Vincent was a beast, not a man. But there has to be a man in there to acknowledge everything that's happened in his life, to be able to sit there and say to Catherine, well, your family's done this and your family's done that, and look what's happened to me, but hang on a minute, you've got a part in this too.
Yeah.
That's not a beast. That's a guy that's thinking rationally. That's a guy that's actually getting his shit together, thinking, well, you know what? It's not just about me now, it is about her as well.
Exactly. But it took him a while because, let's face
Of course
it,
it takes him a while.
I mean, you shot me. it all comes back to the fact of that look of horror and absolute shock on Vincent's face when Catherine shot him.
I actually think that may have been the turning point for him too. If this girl, who he instinctively knows loves him and cares for him, and his heart beats for her and hers for him and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
For him, the realisation of what have I become for her to shoot me, although Troy was there to help him through it, to nurse him through it, from the moment that Catherine shot Vincent, the facial expressions that Vincent has on his face when he's looking at Troy are not looks of love.
No, not at all.
They're looks of, I don't know here. I don't know. I don't trust what's going on here. Why do I feel this pull to you when I don't like who I am around you? Why am I doing this? And I think the shot, when Catherine shot him, woke him up to the realisation that, hang on a minute, where have I taken my life to?
But he needed
and then
a few
it's
more
taken
episodes.
another couple of shows for him to actually be able to voice that, because that's what the writers wanted to happen, and they needed to get the storyline in there somewhere. But that's what I think the realisation started from the moment Catherine shot him. Like, what have I done to come here, to get here?
But then he had to work through his demons himself. Look,
And speaking of demons,
Karen
has
I have a theory.
had an epiphany today.
I've had an epiphany. As you all know, the last couple of episodes.
Over to you.
Thank you.
It's all right.
The last couple of episodes, I was a bit meh. I wasn't feeling a lot of it, and I was feeling a lot of the Vincent stuff. I get Vincent's motivation because of where he's come from and how he's evolved, especially to get where he is in episode 12. It was Catherine. I simply couldn't abide Catherine's choice of Gabe, because I couldn't separate myself from the Gabe that he was in season 1 of being the big bad, I guess. He was the one that tried to kill her, the one that tried to kill Vincent, and I've had real problems with Catherine seemingly choosing Gabe and abandoning Vincent. But I was blow drying my hair this afternoon in my bathroom, and I was thinking about what I was going to say on this video review, as you do.
Did you do that?
Yeah, I did that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. And it suddenly hit me. I was of the opinion up until today that it could have been anybody else but Gabe. You know, Patrick, let her go off and have a bit of a flirtation with Patrick. Anybody. I would have had zombie Evan back. I wouldn't have cared. I thought it needed to be anybody but Gabe because of what he did to her.
I just realised what you said, zombie Evan.
Yeah, zombie Evan.
Okay.
In season 1. But guess what? Beasties, get through it, put on the big girl pants and realise, actually, when you think about it, that it has to be Gabe, nobody but Gabe. At the moment, a lot of Beasties have felt that Vincent's fall from grace is irredeemable. And I so disagree with that for all the reasons we've listed before, and Janeen agrees with me.
Absolutely.
So Catherine needs to have a fall from grace. That, I guess, is an epiphany for her to realise what she's lost and what Vincent's lost, given up, etc., etc., etc. So it has to be Gabe. Think of it this way. In season 1, we all know and understand that Vincent was good, has turned bad for a while, but his basic goodness, humanity, compassion, all the things we loved about him are coming back. Okay? Here's one character.
Because at the end of the day, I'm just funny, because at the end of the day, that's who Vincent is.
And
no amount of mind washing is going to be able to squelch that.
Yeah. And we're seeing that now.
And we're seeing that now.
Ultimately, Vincent is the big good.
Yes. Right.
Now, we juxtapose that against Gabe.
Turn it around.
Yeah, thank you. Turn it around against Gabe. Gabe, in season 1, started off the big bad. In season 2, he's seemingly, like Vincent has seemingly been the big bad and become good. Gabe, to me, is seemingly the big good who's going to become the big bad. And Catherine has to go through her own, I guess, human beastly fall into hell to make her understand how good ultimately Vincent is. That Vincent and Gabe are mirrors of each other.
Yeah.
Gabe's evil, Vincent is good, and it's probably going to take Gabe to make Catherine realise just the epic love that she has with Vincent. And for me, epic love isn't just roses and a good time. Epic love is, guess what? Faye, I saw something that you'd written on Facebook somewhere, and I just wanted to say that epic love has epic highs and it has epic lows.
Yeah.
You've got to go through hell.
You have to experience real low lows to appreciate what a high is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because otherwise you've got no benchmark for what a high is if you don't experience a high or if you don't experience a low. You need to know
exactly.
where that benchmark is.
So to me, it has to be Gabe, because it's only through Gabe that Catherine is going to ultimately realise that Vincent is the one, and that Gabe is going to ultimately the big bad. And big bad, I picked up so many clues in this season.
Oh, no,
in this episode.
Specifically.
Yeah.
But before we go on to that, I just want to say about the whole epic love thing.
Yep.
I don't understand why a lot of people think that epic love is just about two people finding their way to be together. How many stories have you read where people have gotten together as young children or young kids through high school, they've both gone off, lived their own lives, and all of a sudden they find themselves back
20, 30 years later.
20, 30 years later in a place where they're the same, and they've realised that that was the epic love that they had let go. In that time, each person has had their own highs and lows. They've had their own lovers, their own... You know, marriages, kids, and some of them may even have turned gay in somewhere in between. Who cares? You know, it's not all about that. But what I'm saying is, epic love is just that, it's epic. But there is no definition in the dictionary that I know of that actually explains what epic love is.
Yes.
Which means it's possible to be anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So just...
The epic love is there. And I saw a lot of that in this episode.
Yeah.
And Vincent has now realised. It's going to take Catherine another episode or two to realise the same thing.
Yeah.
And Gabe is really the only instrument through which that makes sense.
Maybe that tweeted leak by someone, sorry, I can't remember who it was, that said that Catherine and Vincent have a talk at the boathouse when Vincent's got no top on.
Oh yeah, I think
can't wait for that episode.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Anyway,
Catherine
Ashton, what's with the bathrobes? He's inside, he doesn't need one.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay.
Although I'm glad Tori wore one. Anyway.
So that would have just been way too much.
Anyway, what was I saying? I don't know.
Got lost. But yeah, epic love. Epic love is epic, and the epic. It's
epic means large.
It's
larger than life, beyond comprehension. You know, long time, long lasting. Just.
And it's there.
I could talk about epic love from a personal point of view, but my story is not written yet.
And that's just it. That's what really shone through, and that's why now I can look at this future arc and not get myself into a knot about it. Yes, cat kissing. Gabe is still going to make my skin crawl.
Let me ask you this.
But,
why, at the beginning of the episode, did Catherine turn around to Tess and say, I don't want to be in a relationship right now? And then 40 minutes later, she's holding Gabe's hands, saying, I want to be with you.
I know, I want to be with you. But see, to me now, Vincent has seemed out of character, but ultimately he's not. He's coming back to the Vincent we all know and love. Catherine is seemingly out of character, but that's her own way of dealing with all of this shit that's happened to her.
But there's something else that we keep forgetting about Vincent.
What's that?
Vincent that we knew in season 1 was a man held in captive by his own
demons,
yes. But also he was in hiding.
Yeah.
So Vincent wasn't allowed out in the world. So how do we know who the real Vincent was out in the world?
Well, that's just it. You know, he didn't have to deal with all of that.
He didn't. He didn't have to deal with telephones and people interrupting conversations, and he didn't have to deal with
social media
and
Twitter and
Instagram and all that sort of stuff. He didn't have to deal with any of that stuff because you know what? He couldn't have followers anyway. Austin. But anyway, so it's like there's so much more to just Vincent.
Yes.
Vincent's evolution from being the man who came back from after being brainwashed and treated like a guinea pig to the Vincent that is slowly starting to evolve now. Yeah. And I think out of all the characters in this whole season, Jay Ryan's depiction of Vincent has been phenomenal the whole way through it, because he is a completely different person from the Vincent of season 1
to a degree.
At the moment, yeah.
But up
until 3 or 4 seasons ago, he was a completely
3 or 4
different
episodes ago.
So that's what I meant.
But we want 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 10
seasons.
Yes.
So he was a completely different person in the first half of the season, or the story thus far. So to be able to portray that to totally different people reminds me, and I'm going to compare to Edward Norton in
Primal Fear.
Primal Fear. You know, you had you fooled the whole way through and then switched like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've loved this. This episode to me was about Vincent. I've read a lot of tweets too. Oh my God, it's about Vincent. I'm sorry, but Beauty and the Beast is always going to be predominantly about Vincent.
Yes, because it's the Beast.
Because he's the Beast, and it's everybody having to deal with the Beast. So it's always going to be predominantly about
As
Vincent.
soon as people actually tweeted that.
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
my
I've
God,
seen it.
Todders.
I've seen it. Oh, what more? Catherine's story. But Catherine is Catherine because of Vincent, and it's always got to be him at the heart of everything.
I thought you were going to touch my boob.
Okay, I'll try and resist your boobs.
It's very close. It's like, oh my God.
So for me, that was an epiphany.
Beasties,
look at Gabe as a means to an end, and why it actually has to be Gabe, because he's the mirror image of Vincent's goodness is Gabe's badness, and it's what Catherine needs to see to understand where her head is at. And this is her own turmoil, her own version of hell, is to go through this to come back to that epic love. And now, clues. Tony Barnes, very wealthy, owns all the buildings around Manhattan, collects artefacts. The clue that really brought it home...
the Beast serum.
Oh, yeah, and we know that from season 1 that when Gabe met Vincent, he wanted to be a beast like Vincent because he loved the power, but he wanted to be in control.
Of which Vincent is now.
And we know that our main protagonist is a collector of artefacts, and I think it brings us back to the clue from season 1 of that club thingy, metal, that had all the spikes on it.
Yeah,
that was part of that unresolved murder of the coachman.
Yeah.
And I think that was a clue too, because Gabe obviously collects artefacts, so does the mysterious Tony Barnes. Gabe was very interested in being a beast like Vincent. This serum is all about being a beast like Vincent and being in control.
Because remember in season 1, Gabe didn't know that Vincent didn't have control.
Yes.
Until they came face to face.
Yes.
He thought that Vincent had full control over the beast.
I just am a firm believer in that Gabe is the big bad.
Yeah.
And that
even more so this week. Look, I was a little bit I wasn't quite on board with Gabe being the whole big bad thing, and I was still pretty convinced that Ted Whittle or Bad Daddy was part of it. And I know he's coming back into another episode very soon. But I do think that yesterday's episode.
Yes, today's
episode was actually really pointed me down the whole thing of Gabe being the big bad. But in saying that, I said to Karin,
that's me. It's all right, sweetheart.
I said to Karin that's probably what the readers want us to think, and it's somebody totally different.
No, see, I don't buy that.
I know.
Because a new character coming in as the ultimate big bad, we wouldn't be invested in.
That's true.
We simply
but it would open it up
to
a season 3.
Yeah, I guess.
Even though season 3 is about...
How much more interesting would it be if it was Gabe? Because I think Gabe being the big bad is part of what Catherine has to see to understand, oh my God, this bloke that actually seemed to have turned good is really ultimately the bad guy he always was. And Vincent, who seemed bad, is ultimately the good guy he always was. Again, it comes back to the parallels. These two men in her life have to teach her a lesson, and that's what Gabe is all about, a really important life lesson to make her, just as Tori was a lesson for Vincent to make him realise he did not ultimately want to be with her. It's got to be Gabe. It can't be anybody else, because that's also the one where Catherine would look back later and go, I crucified Vincent for all of these things that he did, but what the hell did I do? I went off with the bloke that tried to kill us. All right. I was thinking of going off with the very man who tried to kill the love of my life and tried to kill me. What was I thinking? I'm actually just as bad as Vincent in some ways. I think that's almost like, like this you win, I win scenario that JT and Vincent went through in my favourite scene of the episode.
Oh, can we talk about that
scene? We will. But that's it. It's that, okay, Catherine will ultimately go, well, I thought Vincent was bad for doing this and this. But when you think about it, Gabe, oh my God, that's even worse.
Okay, I need to move on from Catherine.
That's my epiphany. I get Gabe and Kat. I get why it's got to be Gabe and Beasties. Think of it the same way. Another couple of episodes, it'll be all over for that relationship.
Hold on for one more day.
Exactly. And now because of that, I'm loving it again because I see the big picture.
Well, I've always seen it.
I know you have. I know.
but a little bit differently. But
yes,
anyway,
yes, exactly.
the scenes that stole it for me.
Oh, without fail.
No, scenes. There's several.
Yes.
The conversation at the bar between Catherine and Vincent.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
I do agree.
The conversation between between Vincent and Tori as Tori was dying.
Yes, that was lovely.
I think she did that really, really well.
Yes,
and
Amber,
kudos to you. I didn't like the character, but loved the way you portrayed her. And in the end, I shed a tear for you.
Yes, agreed.
I think you did that really well. The next one was Vincent's declaration to Catherine after Tori had been taken away and they were standing there in the cage.
Yes.
And he acknowledged that, and I really have to say this, he acknowledged that he didn't know what he would do
without her.
If something like this had happened to Catherine. But he didn't say, how am I going to live without Tori?
Oh, hell no.
So, anyway, just had to let people
That was a great scene, because ultimately, guess what? It instinctively comes back to Vincent protecting Catherine.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
Totally what it's about. And Catherine's constant, and once again, Catherine saying, but that's not your decision to make. It's our decision to be there and to help you. The scene between... I had a problem with the scene between FBI Dana and Sam.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
To me, it took her too long to recognise her own husband.
Mind you, from what I can gather in the previews, he's normally clean-shaven, short hair.
You know what?
And she would not have expected to see him at all. So I don't know that the brain registers.
No, I get it. But if you bend down and you're looking at someone, because she bends down, she looks at him and says, I'm FBI agent Dana blah, or I'm Dana blah, FBI. You would know him earlier than that.
Yeah, very possibly.
Halfway between saying, hi, I'm agent, you would stop and go, hang on
a minute. Oh my God.
You look like, who are you? It can't be you. I can't see someone who's just found someone after 6 years saying her full name. But anyway, to me it would have been a little bit more of a talking to him about who she was, but her stopping halfway through going, why, hang on a minute, you look like Sam's at you. You know, for me, I had a bit of an issue with that. But moving on from that, the next best scene, I think, or the best scene, the best scene, let's face it,
Our boys.
JT
and
bromance,
bromance, man hug.
I think, I actually tweeted to Austin, is there going to be any ramifications from JT's declaration? And Vincent and JT said no.
Probably not.
He thinks it's pretty much done with. And I'm glad to hear that, because I would hate to see, after everything that JT's done for Vincent, that Vincent can't acknowledge. Hang on. And in saying that, that's not a man who's got his humanity back, is it? That can forgive something like that.
No, of course not. He hasn't got any humanity.
He's got no humanity. He's
an irredeemable jerk.
Irredeemable idiot.
Please.
Seriously.
We're not watching the same television show, obviously.
No.
I've wondered that some
weeks. If someone thinks that Vincent's irredeemable, and there's no man, there's no human in him,
they're not watching the same show. Anyway, we'll move on from that.
Love the scene, Austin and Jay Ryan.
Both of you. Austin, you made that work so well.
Yeah.
Really did. There was nothing about those scenes between you
really
and Jay that I didn't like.
Because we saw a bit of water in Jay Ryan's eyes.
Yeah, there was a tear.
There was definitely a tear. We get that. But how could you not laugh? In a sense, so it's so serious, like, you know.
Yeah, Austin, how did you not laugh?
Watching Jay Ryan talking, psych himself up into the tear. Or was it someone just put drops in his eyes and they go quick? No,
another question for you to answer this week, Austin. But you've been so gracious at answering the others.
Yeah, but like, I'd laugh. I would laugh.
I know.
I would.
But
watching someone try to psych themselves up to cry and be like,
I'm predicting, one of my predictions, I'm predicting there'll be a really good gag reel.
Oh, yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah, we want to see a gag reel.
But I just think, Austin, my hat's off to you, because there's no way I could have kept a straight face with that.
Yeah, I know. No, they did, look.
Unless they shot JT, right? And then Austin's gone out, and then they've gone and shot Jay Ryan, and there's no one in front of Jay Ryan except the camera.
No, it wouldn't have been the same.
Anyway, they're pretty good actors.
Yeah, I know.
Work.
Anyway, we'll move on. Enough said. But best scenes of the whole episode.
It was great, absolutely.
I loved Vincent's concern.
Yeah.
Hey, actually, every interaction with JT was old Vincent and JT. It was bromance. It was trust.
The hug.
The hug, the man hug, the concern for JT to find out that he was kidnapped.
Yeah.
Even the congratulations right at the start over the alleged grant
Yeah.
that he'd received. It was just vintage JT and Vincent all
Yeah.
the way through. But of course, Vincent doesn't have his humanity back yet.
No,
so we're imagining things.
No, that's right.
We're
imagining
things.
all
It's
this.
just part of our imagination.
We're imagining the fact that he was concerned over JT, and that when JT was on the ground after they stole the jewel from him, he was. There was no concern in his voice then either. There was no concern about Catherine being exploding there was no concern for Tessa's life. When she was being held hostage, no humanity.
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to the fact
He's
that
a wooden actor and he's got no humanity.
I could happily jump people that say he's a wooden actor. He's a Kiwi adopted Aussie. We love Jay Ryan. He's very much, he belongs to us. Mm-hmm. Jay, just in case you weren't sure about that, you belong to us.
And Aussies. If you ever watch it, yes, you are ours.
Yep, you belong to us. Yep, definitely.
Mm.
I get so mad when I read stuff like that. But anyway, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And
we think Jay Ryan and Austin Basis are beautiful.
Yes. Together, the shining lights of this episode. Yeah. Love them, love them, love them. So, isn't it interesting? Because yesterday, when I first watched the episode, I would have given it about a 6 out of 10. In the light of my epiphany of why it has to be Gabe, I now give it 9 out of 10. I can see where the writers are going. I can see actually how clever they're being. And I can see the journey that each one now has to take. Vincent's is actually taking a little less time, as it turns out, for that journey. And I think that's amazing.
I can't rate it.
Why?
Well, because I loved the episode. Absolutely 100% loved it. And I can see the evolution of Vincent. I can see Catherine's spiral downwards. I can see JT's and Vincent's bromance. And I absolutely love it. But, it's not a 10, it's not a 9, it's not a 6. I don't know. It's just, I'm really looking forward to, and I'm really, really excited about the episodes that are coming up.
Yes, same.
Regardless of the fact that I have to sit through and watch
Gabe
Vincent and Catherine kiss once, twice, possibly 3 times. Like I'm going, and the second time I'm going to watch it, I'm going to skip it because I'm not really interested in seeing it. But I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yes.
In the coming episodes, and the look on Gabe's face from the preview of next week when he says, "You talking to him about us?" And it's like, well, yeah, hello, I'm in love with him, not you. Hello.
Yeah, look, who knows? As we always find with the spoilers, is that something else is going on. So maybe, just maybe, there's a clue.
Well, I
think Gabe not being what he seems, and it's a way for Catherine to draw him out.
Absolutely, but I also think I even said on Facebook today, there's got to be a reason why Vincent grabs Gabe and holds him up.
Other than just pure jealousy.
Because that's not what Vincent's about, because he's been jealous every time he's seen them together and he's not reacted.
Yeah.
Okay, and even in the scene where he admits to JT, or JT works out that Vincent still does have feelings for Catherine, whoa, we all knew that. Anyway, it's not jealousy that puts Gabe up against the wall with Vincent's hand at his throat. There's something a lot more going on than that.
Yeah,
I'm going to leave the hypotheses and the conspiracy theories to everybody else. But I just think there's more to it.
Yeah. But mind you, I love seeing jealous Vincent.
Oh, yeah, bring it
on. For whatever reason.
Bring it on.
To just, like this with Gabe up against the wall. Yeah. Yes, bring it. We're really looking forward to that.
Jealous Vincent, so hot. And I think there's a lot of...
Next week is meant to be romantic as well. It's meant to be the Valentine's episode.
I'm really
Actually, episode 13 was the Valentine's episode in season 1. So, again, it's all these parallels that keep coming back into each other. Maybe, the romanticism is Tess and JT. Maybe JT does some sort of grand gesture to Tess to say, hey, listen, girlie, I like you a lot and I want to take this relationship further.
The romance could even be between Sam and Dana.
Exactly.
There's another couple that's brought into it now. So, I think, all in all, I'm just going to wait until next few weeks. And I think when I look back over the whole season, I'm just loving it more when I do that than as opposed to week by week.
Yes, as you've said before.
Yeah, and I will continue to say to people, you need to look at the evolution of the characters within the story thus far.
Yes.
And the possibilities of where they can go before you can really appreciate it. It's not about Vincent being an a-hole, or Catherine being a dingwit, or Gabe being blah-worthy, or Tori, we just want to bang her over the head and get rid of her. It's about everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Put it all together and look at the whole story and see where it's going. And
exactly.
Yeah, I think the writers are just doing a spectacular job. But, okay, if I have to rate it...
Yes, you do.
Oh, man, it's so hard.
I know.
Pressure.
Oh, the pressure. I know.
Pressure of a rating. Oh, look, I'm at 8.5.
Okay.
8.5.
Yeah, you're pretty close. Yeah, well, see,
Yeah.
ultimately we agree. And Austin, you'll be happy to know that, yes, I've come around to Janeen's side. He did ask that question on Twitter.
Yes, he did. He said that he was hoping you'd come to my side of the fence.
Yes, and I have.
And my side of the fence is much nicer. See? It's nice over here.
It is,
Anyway.
it is. It's just a matter of approaching it from a different angle and seeing it for what it is. And it's a plot device to bring them back together again. Do we all love the plot device? No, but it can't be anybody else but Gabe. I keep coming back to that. Because of the history with him, it has to be Gabe.
I don't want you to be proven wrong.
No,
but
neither
I can't
do
wait to see if you're right. True.
I
don't want you to be
honestly
wrong.
think-
I don't want you to be wrong, but I
I
can't wait to
honestly
see if you're
think
right.
the writers are a little more clever than what some of the Beasties are giving them
Well,
credit
some of
for.
them don't. Actually, speaking of the writers and Beasties giving them credit, I want you, Beasties, that like to get on Twitter and use pseudonyms and other things to spew hate at the actors and everyone else.
Come out from behind
Come
your
out from
pseudonym.
behind your pseudonym, and there's one person we know in particular who's got at least 4 or 5, and yes, we do know your real name.
Yes, and she calls out people
and she
for
calls
having
out
pseudonyms.
people for having
Yep.
pseudonyms. What I would like to see you do, because you have the talent, this particular person I'm talking about, to do this, is I would like to see you write an episode of Beauty and the Beast. I'd like to see you write 26 episodes of Beauty and the Beast and see how well you get liked. You know? You can't sit there and spew hate at people until you've walked in their shoes.
Exactly.
So if you have never walked in their shoes, as in sat there, tried to write an episode of Beauty and the Beast and have everyone love it,
Yes.
then you have no right to
And
judge
try.
the writers. And I'm saying judge the writers. I'm not saying you can't critique it. I'm not saying you have
absolutely.
to agree with it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you have no right to judge them as people.
Exactly. Yes, yes. So nothing lights my wick more than some of the stuff that I'm reading.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't liked Elements. Like I said, Cat and Gabe, bleh. That just does nothing for me. But now I understand the philosophy behind it and why it has to be him. It's okay. Bring it on. A couple of episodes, it'll be done. Our Vincat will be back together again. We look forward to season 3. And who are they as a couple, working things out together?
Oh.
And if we don't work together, and if we keep being disrespectful about it, why would any of them want us? Why would any of them want to work on a season 3?
I know. And just for the record, yes, I am known as someone different to my real me, but I'm not hiding that I am that other person.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm not hiding the fact that I am J. Cole and Janeen Hayes. Janeen Hayes is my personal life, it's my work, it's people that side of it, and J. Cole is purely my fantasy side, which is BATB and my and everything else to do with that.
And thanks to Facebook, Karin Whitnish is Karin Whitnish everywhere.
But you are also known as BATB Passion.
Exactly.
So you know what? We've all got more than one persona, but we don't all hide behind them.
Exactly.
So we're not being hypocrites.
So yeah, I think that's enough of a soapbox for today. But look,
I will jump off now. Well, I won't jump. I'll just step aside.
look, it was a great episode. It had no comeback. It had lots of great moments.
Yeah.
Like I said, the JT Vincent one's our personal favourites.
Should we
were
delete that bit?
just beautiful. No, we don't need to delete anything. And no, we can't be anybody other than who we are, Janine. So.
Well, that's very true. You know, I've said it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's all cool.
Gotcha.
Look, it doesn't mean that I don't dislike anybody. I really don't.
No,
I
but-
just get so disappointed
Yeah.
in some of the disrespectful behaviour.
Yeah. And you know what? I get really disappointed in the people that speak before they think.
Absolutely.
Is that what I mean to say? Yeah, speak before they think. They just go blah, 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 and don't actually realise what's coming out of their mouth. You know,
It can be so hurtful.
It can be so hurtful. It can be really judgmental, and it can be really, really bad. I mean, I understand. That there are some beasties out there that are feeling disillusioned. You know what? I get it. And there's nothing that I can say that's going to change your mind, because my mind thinks completely different to yours. My only request is that if you're going to sit there and spew hate about it, or you're going to sit there and say that you're disillusioned, etc., 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 whatever it is, with a storyline, can you please just keep it amongst the pages and not out where everyone else is trying to fight for season 3? Because
I'm getting a lot of beasties.
You might get angry with it. You might not like it. You might want to switch off from it. You know what, guys? Do it. And send me a message saying why you want to do it, or send it to Karen, or send it to your friend, or whatever. But on reply to what everyone's fighting for season 3 to put it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, look, a lot of beasties are turning off Twitter because their Twitter feeds are being clogged up with negativity and nastiness, and that doesn't inspire new fans.
No, it doesn't. And
I know that some of the disillusioned fans might sit there and think, well, who the hell cares about whether this show gets new fans or not? Guess what? We do.
We do. We care.
Yeah, we care.
And a lot of people do care. And there are a lot of people out there that say, well, hang on a minute, why would I want to watch that when, people, the fandom does this? You know what? I'm not saying you can't hate it. We're not saying you can't, dislike an episode or dislike a storyline. And, we're not saying that you can't barf every time you see Gabe and Catherine kiss. I'm going to have the bucket next to me too. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm not going to sit there and say it was terrible and it was hateful and it was this and it was that, because it's a storyline. So we're just critiquing it, not judging it.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, you just watch it for the pure entertainment value that it is, and man, oh man, is it ever that. And I think I tweeted that to Austin. I may not always like certain scenes, but I adore the show. Yeah. And there's nothing that could take me away from the show, especially after today's epiphany. Thank you, bathroom. Thank you, blow drying of hair. Amazing what you think about. And
I'm not.
I really, really, really now, in the light of all that, loved this episode. Now bring on the next few episodes.
I'm so excited for the rest of the season. I really am excited. I'm excited to see where they take it to before the mini hiatus.
Yes. And Beasties, don't stress. The last 6 episodes are scheduled.
Yes.
And I have actually read. I don't know who tweeted it or who posted it, but late May. I think Mark Pedowitz himself might have said it's due back at the end of May. Last week of May is when the last 6 episodes start. It wasn't just somebody that thought it was starting then. It was somebody actually
that would know,
higher up, that would know that it's back at the end of May. Yeah. We're going to get those final 6 episodes. Yeah. And if we're a united front, we'll get our season 3. And
Two People's Choice has to say something, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is Beasties, Austin Base's celebrity category, Shorty Awards.
Yes, don't forget.
Keep nominating him and saying why he deserves the award. Yeah. We need to roar for Austin as well because man, does that... You so deserve it.
Yeah, and I just want to say again, thanks to Austin for being the person that he is.
Yes.
Even with his celebrity status as it is, that you take the time to reply to us, to favourite our tweets, that you are just... And just a king beastie, and
your support has been excellent. We know you're watching these video reviews.
Yeah, I don't think he watches them to the end though.
Well, you could answer that question.
I don't blame him.
just want to know
threw that on there. Threw that in there.
If you watch it from beginning to end, and whether you've influenced any other members of the cast to watch them as well.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think I want to know that.
Yeah, I do.
No, I don't.
I do.
No, I don't. But tell me anyway.
Exactly.
No, I'd be interested to know if, Austin, do you watch it? Do you sit down with your wife and watch it? Or do you, do you sit in your trailer and watch it when you've got 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there and just watch it in bits and pieces? I'd be interested because we know that you've seen some of it.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Because you've actually answered my questions a couple of times.
Yeah, same.
But in saying that, it's okay if you don't answer that question.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're okay with that.
I love the beasties that always wait for responses from Jay Ryan. If I were Jay Ryan, he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. Because if he answers some beasties, other beasties are going to get upset that he didn't answer them. And why did he pick her? Why didn't he pick me? If I were him,
respond to us.
If I were him,
we're Aussies.
I would close down Twitter.
I wouldn't even bother.
I would never go near it.
No, especially with the Vincent haters out there that just can't separate Jay Ryan from Vincent.
Yeah.
Yes, I can separate them. I'm okay with the fact that Jay Ryan plays a character called Vincent.
Yeah, really?
I am.
Yeah.
Shock of all shocks.
Oh, no.
And that Austin Bases plays a character called
JT. Yes.
And that Kristen Creek plays...
Yeah, we could go on. And I think now we're rambling.
No. We don't ramble.
We're
perfectly sensible in our thoughts.
But yeah, I think that covers...
Yeah, we've got to go.
Hang on. Don't switch it off yet.
Okay.
I think that pretty much covers everything.
I think so.
I can't think of anything that we haven't covered. We've covered off on all the important elements of this episode. There's going to be great stuff to look forward to. And next week...
Tears for Amber.
Yeah, Tears for Amber. Well done, Amber.
Sorry, Tears for Tori.
Tears for Tori, but kudos to Amber for playing her so well. Because at the end of the day, love or hate is a very strong emotion. And man, oh man, Madam Amber, have you
had as loving to
hate. So I take my head off. Now we're back next week with episode 13 review, which is called Till Death.
Till Death.
And something to do with weddings and
and
parties,
funerals and-
anything, funerals. who
Weddings
knows?
and funerals and stuff. I think they'd have to have a funeral for Tori, wouldn't they?
Well, you would think. You would think. So, anyway,
Anyway,
we love it.
Oh, and the other thing is Amber, the fact that you are no longer with BATV but still tweeting and supporting it.
Yeah, big kudos.
Thanks.
Absolutely big kudos. You've handled all of this with class
Oh, hasn't she though?
and grace.
With all the hate, and she's just steadfast and being
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. And yeah,
Yep, we love
she's
you.
wiser than her age depicts.
Yes, I do agree. So thank you, Beasties, for listening once again.
Yes.
And we'll be back next week.
And yes, new fan fiction coming out.
Yes, I'll be editing
I've just
it
finished
tonight.
writing
So
it.
I'll be going over that tonight. So that'll be out
Yeah.
very, very soon. And mine, well, one day. I
Yeah,
think
well,
from
you're-
around about episodes 15, 16 onwards, maybe. We'll
Well,
see how we go.
You know, you've been a bit busy, so.
Yeah, that's the understatement
Yeah.
of the year. But a lot of us are
And I
busy.
had to ignore Stephen for a week, so that's right.
Okay, Beasties. On that note, we're going out with a bang.
Yeah.
And
Peace out,
we will
man.
see you next week. And take that into account.
Thanks,
Just
Tina.
watch Gabe and Kat through new
Yeah.
eyes and just look at them for what it's meant to be, to bring her back to Vincent.
And-
just like Tori brought Vincent back to Kat.
Yeah, and have a. I know that I'm always saying separate season 1 from season 2, but in saying that,
There's
are
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
parallels.
similarities, a lot of parallels.
Yes.
And the evolution of Vincent is very evident if you do compare the Vincent of season 1 to season 2.
Yep.
But he's not the same Vincent. That just doesn't make sense. But
I
you know
know.
what I mean.
Well, in some ways he isn't, because he's a public Vincent, whereas he was a private
No, I
Vincent.
mean like the caring side of him and the man side of him is still there. He is still a man who cares about people around him and protects the people around him. He was that Vincent in season 2. There is still the chemistry between Vincent and Catherine when they're standing at the par.
Oh, that's
As
another
opposed
thing.
to-
No chemistry between Gabe and Kat's characters.
Yes.
And I take my hat off to Kristen
The characters
and
of Gabe and
Jay
Kat.
and Sendel for the way they portray their characters,
Yeah.
because the chemistry fairly sizzles
Yeah.
off the screen, jumps off the
Between
screen and
Vincent
grabs
and
you by
Catherine.
the throat between
Yeah.
Vincent and Catherine, because
Yeah.
it's meant to, because
Yeah.
obviously epic love never dies. But it looks so passionless and superficial between Kat and Gabe. So that tells
Yeah.
you everything you need to know
Yeah,
already.
if the
But
rest- if
kudos
that's-
to them,
yeah,
because
yeah.
the way they do that is
Yeah.
quite startlingly
Yeah.
good. Very underrated actors.
I
all
don't
of
know.
them.
I don't know if Vincent looked at me like that I'd be able to stand with straight knees. I think that'd be jolly.
Yes, I do agree.
But Gabe, he can look at me and I'll just be a stone cold rock.
So Sendel, love you, Gabe.
Oh, absolutely. I said Gabe.
Yeah.
I said Gabe.
Yep.
That's right.
All right.
But yeah.
See, we digressed again. We're good
We
at that.
did.
We did,
Now,
didn't we?
I'm really hoping that we get Naked from the Waist Up Vincent very soon.
Yes, please.
There's
Catherine
been a couple of
Ashton.
episodes now that he's had really hot leather jacket, and that's cool. But, you know,
Yeah, I agree.
boathouse, inside, warmth.
Yes.
No need for the tap.
Yes.
No need for the bathrobe.
Agreed.
Get her off.
Agreed. I'm looking forward to
I'm
that.
sorry, Jay Ryan.
I know, we can't help it. We're
But
not
when you-
objectifying you.
But
We
no,
just...
no,
you
you're
were
objectifying Vincent, not you.
Yes. You were Vincent was particularly swoon-worthy in this
He
episode,
was,
I
yes,
thought.
yes,
Yeah.
he did look quite good.
It was the humanity, the tears, the concern, the bromance, the love for Catherine shining through, the guilt and the responsibility for Tori's death. It was everything.
Yeah.
Everything about Vincent this episode, unbelievably.
Was
As we
adorable.
talked about, he went from that Vincent to this Vincent in how long? And he did it, but he did it really well.
Yeah.
Nicely
Yeah.
done.
As,
Anyway.
as Vince would say, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right. Goodbye, Beasties.
Peace out.
See you next week. Now switch this thing off.
Broken nail.
Okay, bye.